I have a question actually in the moment, like I said, as a communication person, right? Very interesting in cyber war, cybersecurity in the moment, and also social media, the fake news out there. This is really scary. I think also the influence on other countries like Russia, like Iran, and like China. How big is their influence through social media and cybersecurity, in your opinion, on the current US election? And what is their interest, for example, Russia? Who would they support, each of those countries? That would be very interesting to hear from you.
Claudia, basically, if I knew that, I would have insights into American intelligence, and I couldn't tell you. So I don't bullshit about stuff I cannot know. But I have a hunch America doesn't need outside interference to radicalize. I mean, you have much fake news going on from American soil.
From Trump and Harris themselves, you mean?
It's. I mean, you have Elon Musk, you have others. Yeah. You have many crazy right-wing fellows. You have crazies on the left. So I don't think America needs external help. It's not our talk, but it doesn't make a difference. I mean, for Hillary Clinton, it was an easy way out. I mean, she could blame it on the Russians, but I think she was the best help for Trump's election you could think of. Her arrogance, looking down on his electorate, not taking care of the blue wall. She took it for granted. She thought she would be entitled for the presidency. So I think she was a better help than Putin could ever have been. Let's be clear. Trump was, underestimated. Hopefully people don't do that again. He's a very seasoned campaigner. Harris is not. And we will see. I mean, we don't know. So what's the Russian interest? Of course, it's Trump. They want to see. I mean, we now have a new book from Bob Woodward. Not that he needs some advertising, but he made it clear that the two of them are really close and talk to each other, help each other.
And Iran?
Iran isn't interested in a Trump victory. That's why I think they try to de-escalate the situation. As I said before, that thesis stands. If Iran did more what they did already, Israel will retaliate, and Iran may then look carefully into it, because if it really escalates and the oil prices jump, they will help Trump to win. By the way, the same Trump who blew the nuclear deal. Iran cannot be happy about it. So they are in a dilemma. They have to respond somehow, but if they do so, they help Trump re-elect. But you haven't mentioned Saudi Arabia. There's a guy whose name is Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, and he still has a hatchet in the ground he may use against Biden. Biden called him a butcher. No, there is a colleague, some of you, who doesn't live any longer, Khashoggi, and he called him out with intelligence. And Mohammed bin Salman didn't forget that. Biden already went to Canossa, to Riyadh, and asked him for help to put more oil on the market. Mohammed bin Salman did the opposite, took 3 million barrels a day off the market. So how could Mohammed bin Salman help his buddy Trump? By taking off, let's say, 5 million barrels a day the next days, while the markets are already nervous. That would mean high oil prices, higher prices at the pump, and Trump could say, well, see what happens when you have beginners in there. When I was there was no war, there was no inflation. Yeah. Well, you could make a case, this and that and here and there, but that's too complicated for most of the voters. So I think it's going to be the economy, stupid. And when you look behind the economy, there are a few drivers who could drive the needle in this or that way. We're talking about a few votes.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very interesting. The internal criteria are often different than the external. For us, I guess it's very important for different countries and how. And maybe we have another expert here, General Hodges. And maybe...
For sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I salute.
Yeah, I salute too. Maybe, Ben, you would like to give us your insight on the situation and how you see the role of Russia, Iran, and China. Please feel free to come here if you like. Lord, I go aside. And
There's nothing like a free lunch, General.
yeah. Would love to get your opinion there, as you may have more insights.
Well, I have to say that I'm impressed. I'm not throwing a bouquet. I mean, you brought up some things that really reflect a good insight that comes from your experience about U.S. Electoral politics. So I didn't hear anything that I disagreed with. I will be interested in hearing your assessment of the congressional, Senate, House. I think these will be close. It looks like the conventional wisdom is that the Republicans would lose the House but gain the Senate, but we won't know for sure. Um, what really worries me is not Donald Trump. What worries me is that millions of Americans vote for Donald Trump, including people very well educated, um, lots of experience, and they each have their own reasons. Some of them are related to me, some of them are dear lifelong friends, and I don't understand it, but they have their reasons. So we can't just wish it away, say they're a bunch of idiots or something, because they come from all over America. This is a concern. Trump will be gone in 4 years. Even if he's elected 4 years from now, there'll be somebody else. So in America, we have to address what is it that causes millions of people to want a guy who wants to be dictator, who clearly is a fascist and does not respect our Constitution. How is that? I am interested in this famous October surprise. There's always this thing that happens in the last weeks before the actual election called the October surprise. Was it the hurricanes that actually came in September? Sometimes, it's an external natural disaster, or is it something that's going to get dropped here in the next days? You mentioned MBS possibly doing something. The book by Bob Woodward that's being leaked out already talks about Trump meeting with Putin after he left office. And
Probably not much of a surprise that Woodward doesn't like Trump. Not the October surprise.
The last thing I would mention is, and I think, Claudia, this is what you referenced in the beginning. We are very vulnerable in the United States. I think probably in Germany also, but especially in the U.S., because our society is so open, so transparent, that we're vulnerable to disinformation. People will click on the link and they'll look at it and they're like, "Oh, see, I told you," because it feeds their preconceived beliefs anyhow. But these things are getting more and more sophisticated. I looked at a video the other day that Alex and I received. It had been passed, no telling how many thousands of times it had been circulated around, and it was shared with us by a person whom I have great respect. He's a professor, so we're talking about well-educated person, and he just forwarded it without comment, and it was a video of a real thing. President Biden was on this TV show called The View. Some of you will be familiar with The View. It's a women's program. And so Biden was there with these 3 or 4 women at the table, and he's talking to them. And then there's another person at the table who starts talking, and he starts off quasi reasonable, and then he starts saying unbelievable stuff. And I thought, oh, this is fake. There's no way that this idiot would be allowed at that table with the president of the United States. And he's using words that are obviously totally unacceptable. And I thought, this is fake. And it took me about 5 seconds. But beneath it, someone had, this is real journalism, not the bullshit that we get. And like, oh my God.
That's shocking. Huh?
And this is passed on by
People don't believe the truth.
This is passed on by people that are well educated. So we are vulnerable. And, we just had the Department of Justice expose 4 people in the U.S. that are influencers. They have millions of followers, and they're getting like $100,000 a month from Russia to put out nonsense that gets that goes viral. And of course, they've got an enabler, Elon Musk, or as Trump calls him, Leon, his dear friend, that boosts
Yeah.
that. So I don't know how much that influences the outcome,
Yeah.
but it reinforces all the worst
Impulses.
impulses.
And last question, maybe. Thank you very much for this. You as an expert. So Russia, as you mentioned already, is supporting Trump, of course. I think that is fair to say, right? And Ben, this is also your opinion, right? Just a last question. You can sit also. So Russia is supporting Trump.
Vladimir Putin is.
Yeah.
I mean, in an autocratic dictatorship, where the guy at the top does not give a toss about the millions of Russians, but the people with the power, of course,
Putin's, of course,
it's in his benefit. It's in the benefit of the oligarchs that they would be able to treat Europe as if this was the 18th century and say, this is ours, you can have this, we'll divide up Ukraine, and we'll all be happy with that.
Yeah,
So
no, you're referring to Putin.
I think that I believe all the negative things I hear about Russian influence, Putin influence. I don't know that what they have on Trump. I mean, part of it, he wants to be like that.
Yeah.
He wants to be like Xi. Some of you would have heard the video when Trump was talking to his assistant, not realizing he was audible. And he goes, you see how everybody stands up when Xi walks in? I want my people to do that. So, yes, I think he envies people like Putin, Xi, Orban. I mean, that he wants that.
And China, lesson?
Here, I don't know. I think that, Trump, when he was president, was not easy on China either. So I don't know that the Chinese, I don't know enough to have a good feel for that. But I think the Chinese imagine that with a President Trump, they could get a deal of some sort that would, bad luck for everybody else.
Okay.
Bad
Easier
real
than
estate for
Paris.
Trump, too far away from New York.
That's right.
Thank you very much. I know this was unexpected. He was a guest, not supposed to speak here, but thank you very much.